from the story you just described in that first, couple of weeks after October 7th.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, in terms of days on, days off, I mean, was it nonstop? Has it been nonstop from October 15th until you came here, or are there kind of almost deployments, tours? How does that work?
Yeah. So for my team, we operated straight for maybe I think it was about close to a month. And we got our first leave time to go say hi to our wives and our kids and all that. And it was short, which was funny because we're used to reserve duty where you get a proper leave time and relatively short reserve duty time. So you get to see your family more often. Here we went back to what we felt like when we were kids, and you go deploy somewhere for a long period of time in operations, and maybe a month later you get a day or two leave. So it's kind of like that. And it was kind of half comical in a way. Like you laugh about it, you're like, what are we back in the beginning of our military service stage? But essentially the tempo, once we got a groove and got our mission objectives, and once we got the green light to go into Gaza and start the ground operations, essentially what our team would do is we would rotate with the other element of our unit. So my commander, who is the second in command of the brigadier general, and they had the other one who's a brigadier general. It could be wrong, the exact, not a platoon commander. I don't know. Point being is he's got a clover leaf, and the other one has two. So however that's the equivalent to U.S. military. So my guy is number 2. My direct commander is the number 2 of the whole division that we're in, and we would rotate each other out. So that officer with his team would go into Gaza, like I said, into a fob that's very close to where the units are. Either we'd make quick movements of bringing in food, water, refueling for tanks or whatever, and or like I said, we're very close to basically doing a quick evacuation of wounded soldiers, dead soldiers out of the line of fire, try to get them to a stabilization field hospital style. Field hospital. It's in a house that's torn to bit, and you have a bunch of highly trained medical guys that would do life-saving treatments, and then the goal would be to try to get them stabilized, and then communicate with the PJs. We call them Sheshishtesha. It's the number, but it's Air Force Special Forces element, to where they would land in a pre-disclosed LZ in Gaza that was relatively safe.
Yeah.
And we would have to pull security, make sure that landing zone was safe, and if needed for life-saving treatments, and we couldn't get them out mobily, we would team up with those guys and coordinate and get them helivac out of combat zone. So it was a lot of that kind of stuff, and we would just rotate each other out from being in Gaza, being in our, and then being in a like a forward, not a fob that's outside of Gaza. So a fob that's outside, a fob that's inside, and we'd rotate. Okay. So when you're outside, you're still on call if the shit hits the fan, basically, and we have to go in because let's say they got taken out. We're immediately need to go in. So you don't go home. So it's rotating in, out, Gaza. And we would typically do that like 1 week in, 1 week out rotations, give or take, if I remember correctly. In the beginning, it was like 11 days or something. And you're like, holy crap, like this is getting long. And it sucks because you're just constantly having airstrikes next to you and your ears are, getting blown out. Tanks firing without your permission. I mean, how dare they? When they see something, and they just boom, and you're like right next to you, and you're like, oh my gosh, like thanks a lot, bro. Or just driving by and the whole building's shaking, which is, the building we're in is one that's been targeted. There are no fixed walls. The walls are destroyed and or fragments all over the ceiling and walls from the shell that hit it. And that's your fob. That's where you're sleeping tonight, you know? So the cold wind comes in, the rain can come in. It's very high-end combat, and it's nonstop. It's nonstop.
And that week
Yeah.
ish rotation on off, how long is a tour? Because you did 2 tours to Gaza, one to Lebanon. Is that how many? Is it months? Is it?
So we did 295 days.
Wow.
With 3 breaks. So I did 2 tours in Gaza, 1 in Lebanon, and each break was about I think once was 2 weeks, once was almost a month, and then the last break is me sitting here in front of you after the Lebanon tour, which was 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago.
Wow.
So this is my longest break that I've had since, and half of that time I've been here in the U.S. and not with my family.
I mean, how is that culture shock wise? Because I remember, you know, I came home from Iraq. You know, I mean, we were like, from the time where we're in gunfights to where I'm sitting at home was a matter of days.
Right.
You know, and like the culture shock of going from such extreme environments. I mean, is it weird? Like
2 hours, you're home.
But especially for you, having spent the last almost year and a half predominantly in Gaza and Lebanon in that environment, and now you're sitting here talking to me like, can you
you're in combat, you get out, you get switched out. Now it's your leave time, not just hanging out on the backside, and you go home within 2 hours. You're at home, surrounded with your kids. Yeah. So literally, you just pulled out a wounded soldier or dead body.
An hour
just
later.
A few hours ago, they were trying to mortar you and kill you, or RPG us. Yeah, we've had sniping, RPGing, mortars, IEDs. They've tried to kill us multiple times.
Are suicide bombers a huge thing?
It is, but not in this war. I haven't seen any of the suicide stuff. Yeah. Not against us, at least. Right. Ambushes, So we had all that. So you go from that, literally within hours, you're back home and you're with your kids. Yeah. It's like, oh wow, we almost died today. Yeah. Like just a few hours ago. Yeah. So it's from zero to 100. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like tick 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 tick, like change throttle.
You mentioned you were almost killed in Lebanon. Can you tell that story?
Sure. That I can talk about. Yeah. So we were helping an element to get into a position inside Lebanon, and what happened was once we made contact with the element we were with, it's actually 2 times. So the first time, I'll start with the first one. The first time, what happened was there was radio comms failure. We were supposed to bring an element of soldiers to come and give reinforcement to a bunch of guys, combat guys, like equivalent to Marines, who had just taken over a Hezbollah, or I think actually it was Lebanese army outpost that overlooks Israel, northern Israel, my hometown. And we go to this place, pitch dark, like I said. My guys are super professional. We're not going to be detected, not from far off. And so out of nowhere, all of a sudden, a bunch of Hummers show up to this outpost, and the soldiers, because they didn't get word, are like, "Holy shit!" You know, they can't see us, right? Clearly, they don't know if we're friend or foe. And the soldiers told us later, we had the machine gun racked and loaded, pointing at you guys, waiting to take you out.
This was blue on blue.
Blue on blue. Blue on blue. And and the funny thing was, the one guy is an American, and my commander says, because this guy won't shut up, he keeps bitching about the near blue on blue incident, and because he thinks we're idiots. What he doesn't understand is that we did everything in our power. We communicated with all the chain of command of letting those guys know we're coming, and the break in the chain of command of reporting it was actually their side, not our side. Now, I don't have time to explain it to the dude. I don't give a crap about even trying to explain it to him because it's none of his business. It doesn't matter. It's above your pay grade, bro. Not your fault, not our fault. It just happened. And we're all happy it didn't turn out sideways. But the funny thing is, my commander is just like really getting annoyed from this guy, just blah, 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 beating his head out. He says, hey, Doron, this guy's he's American too. Why don't you talk to him? And I go, check. So I go to this guy and I start chatting him up. I forget where he's from in the States. And I say, hey, where are you from, bud? And he's like, so I'm trying to calm him down. He's like, oh, I'm from this. Do you know what you guys did was just crazy and blah, blah. I said, yeah, bro, got it. Hey, it's war. It happens. Let's count our blessings. All's good. Awesome. Check. And then I ask him another question. And then he keeps going back to, dude, I almost killed you all. And he's like freaking out. Like the dude just lost it. And I said, dude, we have been to Gaza. We have seen a bunch of crap. Literally, this is a blorp in our deployment. And we're just counting our blessings. We're good to go, man. Take a chill. Talk to your commanding officer. Let them know how stupid they are for not passing our radio
bona fides.
Yeah, feed to let you know that we're coming. It's simple, man. Just take it easy.
And then
And he just went on and on and on. Yeah. I was like, this guy, if he just shut up,
Yeah.
And then finally my commander's like, all right, Doron, we're getting out of here. Quit chatting up this dude. Like, let's split. And I said, yes, sir. Hey, you have a good one. See you. Bye.
Yeah. And then was there a second time?
And then the second time in Lebanon, again, there was mostly in Gaza, but because Lebanon was a shorter deployment, it was about a month, a little bit more. So the second time was shortly after that. We go in again with another element that we're connecting with. This time we have comms. So there's no issue of blue on blue. Everything was squared away on that end. But what happens is this village where you have soldiers, IDF soldiers taking up fobs in all kinds of different parts of this village, comes under heavy mortar fire, like heavy mortar fire.
Is this from Hezbollah?
Hezbollah.
Yeah.
Why? Because the soldiers were unprofessional. They didn't follow basic soldiering protocol. They were using white light. They were being loud. They were drawing attention. And the Hezbollah guys were just it's open season.
Yeah.
So they didn't see, to my knowledge, they didn't see my element because we were literally in between. So we were actually on a hill overlooking the valley where the soldiers got hit. So we're here and the explosions literally go right over my head. And you hear bop, 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 bop. So first I thought, all right, we're hitting the bad guys. Good job. And then we hear on the radio chatter, mass casualty, mayday, mayday, we need help. My commander goes, all right, this is not our mission, but the boys that we're helping here right now, everybody mount up. We're going over there and we're going to help them. And I'm going, they just came under fire and we're not stupid. And we know that a very crude, basic tactic is hit them hard, mass casualty event, hit them again. So I'm going, okay, another suicide mission. Here we go. And literally, we could have gotten hit just as easily because, like I said, the guys that got hit are maybe, 200 meters from us, give or take, maybe more, maybe less. Not very far.
Yeah.
So we rushed down into the valley there to those villages where the soldiers are, bodies blown to bits, the whole deal. Our medic was a paramedic in the civilian world. We have two of them. Both of them go to work, try to help with what they can with medical. My Hummer in particular wasn't needing to participate in any of the stuff. So I just pulled security. We helped get the stretchers ready and cinch down because basically we're ready to take more casualties than we were planned to originally. And literally we're able to get out of there, help, search for bodies, make sure everyone's accounted for, and then hightail out of there. And by God's grace, get out of there unscathed.
Yeah. Wow. So the predominant fight is against Hamas in this war, correct?
No. It's Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS in Syria with al-Julani and his elements. It's Iran.
I mean, Iran is funding all of it, basically.
They're
right?
funding, but all their proxies are fighting us.
Yeah. But it's
And they're simultaneously fighting us from all fronts.